Hey, how's it going, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Are you in doubts between spending some money on the Rabaconda Street bike tire changer or on the Rabaconda Dirt bike tire changer? So if that's the case, stick around that I'll share my personal opinion about these two different tools so you can understand if they make sense for you, maybe they don't even make sense, and which one is better for your case. Let's get started. Okay, so let's get a very important topic out of the way. These tools are not cheap. Now, we're going to talk about the quality and if they're worth the money that is being asked, but they're not cheap. You can easily spend between $400 to $600 or euro on each one of these tools. So that is a lot of money. And do they justify? Does it make sense? So that's point number one. We need to talk about cost. Number two, and very important, and that's why I think you can listen to me in here. If you decide to buy any of these tools, if you buy or if you don't buy, I'm going to get no money out of this. In fact, I have no link, I have no discount code. I'm just making the video sharing my experience, but I have no monetary incentive or to try to sell you this tool. If you buy or don't buy, it doesn't matter to me. Number three, I think it is important to share the opinion on the basis that I have been changing my own tires without even using the tools for about 8 years. So I've been riding for about 15 years, but changing the tires by myself, I started 8 years ago, and that was using tire spoons, so doing it manually. And let me tell you, it was a pain in the back to do this job. And eventually I started searching and Googling to understand what is out there. One thing I can tell you is that it gets much easier. So over time, you're going to be able to do this much easier. But the first time you do it, and on some tires, even today, there are some tires that I really struggle to do it, while some other tires are very easy to do it by hand once you learn the technique of how to do it, and it is a valuable skill to have. So these are the 3 points: cost, unbiased, and at least I'm not an expert, but I do have some experience in changing tires for already 8 years. Let's look at the variable, which tool should you use? Now, we need to go back to the third argument that I made, which is the skill level. So the skill level, I will tell you like this. If you have never changed a tire in your life, you have no idea how to do it using a spoon, and you have a motorcycle that has uses tubeless tires or tubeless tires, this tool here, the street bike tire changer, it's going to be a tenfold improvement on the ease of doing it. You could have zero experience, watch a tutorial how to do it. I have here one on the channel showing how to use the tool. And I tell you, you're going to be able to do it on the first time. You will get better over time with all of these tools. The technique helps a lot, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to, without any previous experience, to use this tool and make it happen. The reason is, let's call this a different philosophy. Okay? When you go to the dirt bike tire changer, this is an improved version of using tire spoons. So it just makes it easier, but the concept is still using tire spoons. While on this one, the concept, it's trying to imitate these automatic tire changing machines does. So you have a duck head that slides around the rim, and as it is sliding, is pushing the lip of the tire either in or out of the wheel. So that's what this tool is doing. And if you have or don't have experience with tire spoons, it's not going to matter that much. By consequence, you're not going to gain any skills whatsoever about using tire spoons. You will be fully dependent on the tool, and if that's good enough for you, great. So that is a huge advantage. What is the disadvantage with this tool? And actually Rabaconda does tell, so they're quite honest about the product line, and that's why they have 2 products in here. I was able, without any problems, to install my tires, which are tube tires on the CRF 300L. So with this tool, it's no problem at all. I had no struggles whatsoever. I used on the CB 500X, which is a tubeless tire, and I also used on the CRF 300L, that is a tube tire. On both cases, really no problem. So it's very easy to do it. However, if you use rim locks, and I have here rim lock just on the front, I also intend on putting on the rear, but if you use rim locks, I cannot use this tool. There is a video from Rabaconda on their channel where they show the installation of a tubed tire, so using tubes, and a rim lock with the street bike tire changer, and they could do it. I tell you, I could not do it. Or at least it lost the point. I would have to remove the tire from the tool, first fix the rim lock using tire spoons, and then I would have to put it back in here. Well, and then that's not the point. I think it defeats the purpose, but apparently it is possible to do it. I just couldn't do it, and I don't see the sense. So I do not recommend this tool if you think about using rim locks. The next point you need to consider is that it takes more time. Okay, so this is really, it's a whole setup. It makes it very easy, but to set up the tool the way you see it in here, it's quite easy. It takes about 2 minutes, but the whole process here of changing the tire, let's say you can do it in about 10 minutes. Once you memorize all the steps and you get used to it, it will be about 10 minutes without rushing. So you're just doing it at a normal pace, 10 minutes. While on this one, it will be faster. There are also some caveats in here. We're going to talk about this, but that's with this tool. So who do I recommend this tool? Think about if it is a tubeless, and if you have a rim lock, and if it doesn't have a rim lock. If you have a rim lock, forget about it. I do not recommend this one. Now, of course, it is better to do this type of maintenance when you're at home, and especially before you start a motorcycle trip. But not only this, it gives you the chance to get acquainted with your motorcycle. So if you need to do any repairs while you're out traveling, you already have the experience on how to do it. That's why it is very important that you take the time to build a good toolkit for your motorcycle. And at the heart of every good toolkit is going to be a good way for you to carry your tools. So let me show to you the Royam Moto 2-roll. The Royam Moto 2-roll is a lightweight, compact, but big enough to carry all of the tools that you need while you're out riding. It comes with several pockets, including very small ones to securely store very small spanners, but also if you want, you can store quite wide items inside these pockets. And it also has 4 elastic loops for you to store long items. So here I have my trail jack, a hand pump, an extension, and another smaller extension. In addition, you have these large pockets. On this one, I like to keep the sockets that I use most often. And on these 2 smaller pockets, I also have tools that I'm not going to use all the time. Here on the flap, you have a place for you to write your details in case you lose it. And you also have this mesh pocket, which is ideal for storing flat and smaller items. I've been working on my motorcycles for over 8 years, and I find super important to carry magnets with you. That's why we included 2 pockets, so you can have 2 magnets, and of course you can also remove them like this. And in case you remove the magnet and you, for whatever reason, drop a screw of your motorcycle in a place where you cannot reach, you can just attach the magnet to fish the screw. And that also gives you a place to position screws and nuts that you remove from your motorcycle so they don't get lost. If you want more details about the Royam Moto 2-roll, just check here in the description or go to royammoto.com/2roll. And now back to the video. Now let's move to this tool in here. So here you're going to be using still tire spoons, and it's going to make it easier, but I have a little bit of trouble to tell you how easy is it going to be for someone that has never changed a tire by themselves using tire spoons. I think that if you have zero experience and you go to this tool directly, you're going to struggle much more compared to this one. Will it make it easier? Yes, it will, but not as easy as this one. So this one really, it just knocks it out of the park on how easy it makes. This one, if you have zero knowledge, it will take a bit of time. You still need to get the hang out of it. Just for instance, if you have a tubed tire and you do it with this tool, I think it's impossible. I cannot visualize a way that you could damage the tube while changing the tires using this tool. I can't see that happening. While with this tool, it could still happen. Right? You still have to use tire spoons, and if you just run the tire spoon too deep inside your rim and you don't pay attention that the tire spoon is not pressing against the tube, and this is all technique. I mean, I'm going to also post a video here on the channel how to do it manually, but there's a certain way of doing so you avoid damaging the tube. You could still do it in here, right? Because you need to get the technique right. So zero experience, this one is going to be better. If you already have some experience, but you just want to get faster or just make it easier, then you're going to benefit a lot from this tool. With the additional advantage that with this tool, you can do with the rim lock. That it accommodates for that. And that just goes back to the point that it is based on tire spoons. And to do the rim lock, it is just going to be easier to accommodate in here. The point of this video is just to explain the difference between these tools. I have other videos here on the channel where I show how to use the tools in details, so here just take my word for it, but if you want to see the details, check the videos. You should also consider and ask yourself what kind of rider you are, but I know that there are some riders that they will simply not buy any motorcycle that uses tubeless or tube, so they have a certain preference and they will not switch between them. That's a deal breaker for them. If you're 100% sure that you're only going to use tubeless tires, motorcycle with tubeless tires, this one here, it's a big advantage, while this one is a no-go. I see very little advantage. I see no purpose whatsoever to use this tool for tubeless. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for tubeless. So the tubeless is on this one, and the tubed fits more on this side, especially because of the rim lock. What about the quality of the tools? Now, I can tell you these are very high quality tools. If you decide to buy it and you get it at home, you will see straight away, yeah, you paid quite a bit of money, but it is well made. I don't have any, there's no complaint. There's nothing that I can look at this tool and say, this looks cheap. It does not look cheap at all. It looks very well made. It is very well engineered. Definitely the guys from Rabaconda put the time to develop these tools. They thought about a lot to come up with this product. So well done to them. You can disassemble them, both of them completely, and you can fit them on a carrying bag. So that is very nice. It's not going to occupy a lot of space when you're storing at home, and you can also put it in the back of your car to bring it somewhere. Another point in here is going to be the type of usage, and this is if it is only for private usage, so just for enjoyment, or if it's competition. There are some videos on YouTube about the dirt bike tire changer showing this tool being used on enduro competitions, and that's not the way I change tires. Okay, I mean, these guys, they go for it. Right? How can I tell it? There is very little care if your rims are going to get damaged or not. Okay, they just ram it through and they can change tires extremely fast. So if you're talking about competition, this is the tool, right? You will not go for this one because you cannot just speed up like this. You have to follow the procedure on this tool. On this one, I'm sure if you can go for it and get this tire changed. In fact, they call it a 3-minute tire changer, if I'm not mistaken, exactly for that, because if you go for it, you will do it extremely fast. That's not how I change it. Okay, so I don't want to damage my rims too much. It's not that I care that much if they get some scratches, but I'm not under that kind of pressure, so I can take my time. But for competition, this is the one. Definitely not this one. Linking back to damage to your rims, I would say that it is close to impossible to damage the rims, to even scratch them of your motorcycle with the street bike tire changer. While with this one, you can still do it. In fact, it happened to me. I got some scratches while I was changing. And that is, again, just due to the nature that you're relying on the technique of using a tire spoon. If you're doing any kind of adventure-style trips in here, be the BDR in the United States or Trans-Euro Trail in Europe, it is a very valuable skill to have to be able to change the tires by yourself. And this tool will not give you that, okay? And while this one, I think it will help you somehow. You're going to get better, regardless if you buy the tool. If you're putting yourself in positions where you could get a flat and then you need to be able to change by yourself, develop the skill regardless of the tool. Just let the tool help you out, but don't rely on it 100% because you cannot bring the tool with you while you're traveling. Let's look at the variable cost. Okay, one thing is if you just like to have the tool, you just want to have it, there's no justification to justify it on the financial part, but you just want to have the tool. Well, don't go ahead and buy it. But if you want to justify it, I have to be honest with you and tell you. Let's take as an example that you put 600 euro or $600 on this tool. Here where I live, and this is a quite expensive country, I live in Austria, if I go to a workshop and I ask them to change the rear tire and the front tire of my motorcycle, that is 30 euro a pop, so I need 60 euro. So then you can make an easy calculation, 60 euro per year. It would take me 10 years to pay for this tool to pay for itself. Now, there is some additional convenience because here where I live, I can't just take 2 brand new tires and walk into a workshop and just tell them, hey, can you install the tires? I need to make an appointment, and usually it is 1 to 2 weeks in advance. And if it is peak season, it's going to be different. And if it is a motorcycle, not every workshop does it. Maybe where you live, it's not like this. But in here, for some reason, workshops, it seems to me that they don't really like to change tires for motorcyclists. Whatever the reason is, I don't know, but that's a fact. If that's the case for you, then you also gain on the flexibility. You can do it whenever you want and you don't depend on anyone. But you see that financially, it will take quite a lot of time to justify. The other point is if you're buying to also change tires of your friends. Maybe you have a group of riders and everybody's going to benefit from the tool. Someone else has a compressor, you have the tire changing tool, another guy has something else, and you're all sharing and that's good for everybody. Well, then you have to add this to your calculation. Since I started riding the CRF 300L, so here's a dual sport, and taking more BDR in the United States or Trans-Euro Trail here in Europe, this kind of trips, I started changing my tires much more often. So now I'm changing tires between 1 to 2 times every year. So this will help with the calculation. So that's my opinion about these two tools, to whom they would suit better. If you still have any questions, you can leave here the comment. I'll try to reply and just give my opinion for your case. Just explain what is exactly that you have in mind and I'll share my opinion. That's it. I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.